Jamal Bethea here from the Clutch Report. This Warriors Grizzlies playing game is a very interesting matchup. It's interesting because looking at how the Warriors and Grizzlies have matched up the last couple of seasons, how they matched up this year in 3 matches against each other. Golden State won 2 of them. And I believe for the first 2, Jimmy Butler wasn't on the team. But it's very odd, to be perfectly honest with you, looking at where everything ranks. So I'm just going to read some things, some statistics from this season. The Grizzlies were number 1 this year in points, 123 points a game. It's a lot of damn points. It's a lot. The Warriors were 19th with 112. So there's an 11-point difference in how much they score per game. That's just a raw statistic. Here's where it gets interesting. The Grizzlies' defense is 23rd, giving up 115 points a game, which means there's about an 8-point differential between their winning and losing of basketball games, right? The Warriors, on the other hand, they are 10th in defense as far as points allowed per game, which is, okay, top 10 defense. Yet you have a below average offense if you're the Warriors, but you have a top 10 defense. Now, these numbers, of course, are for the entire season. They don't speak to the Warriors just since having Jimmy Butler, which they've been top half of the league. But this speaks to the whole season because, this is just a reading of where they were over the course of the entire season. The problem with the Warriors is they scored 112 points a game, and they basically give up 112 points a game. So the Warriors, and again, this is across the whole season, seem like the kind of team that pretty much give up what they score. So what that means is every game goes down to the end. Every game's a barn burner. And this was something that actually the Lakers, before this season, had a problem with as well. The last 2 years, the Lakers averaged 117 points a game, and they gave up 117 points a game, which means we could score with the best of anybody, but unfortunately, we're going to also allow people to score, so every game ends up going down to the wire or having a chance for somebody to win. There's never an outright winner, right? They rebound about the same, they pass about the same, and they make these pretty much the same amount of 3-pointers per game, and they average about the same percentage of, made 3-pointers per game. So there's really no difference, to be perfectly honest. And I think that is a very telling, statistic. They're kind of like dead even in a way. And it's weird because Grizzlies score a lot, don't play a lot of defense. And then the Warriors play excellent defense, but the offense sometimes can kind of get like this, right? Truth be told, I think the standout player that's going to make all the difference in this series is going to be Jaren Jackson Jr. Jaren Jackson Jr. this year averaged 22 points a game, 23 against the Warriors. But he drives me crazy because he's 6'11", and with all of his defensive prowess, shot blocking, which he also gets into foul trouble because he tries to block too many shots, he's only averaging 6 rebounds a game. You're 6. He's 6'12". All right, he's 6'11", but he's 1 inch away from 7 feet. How are you averaging 6 rebounds a game? He's the key to this. He is the key to this game. The Golden State Warriors have driven me crazy the last 10 years as a fan. They will not go out and get a center. The one time they tried to do that was James Wiseman, who clearly was not a systematic fit, and they got rid of him basically after 2.5 seasons, especially because he was hurt. He's basically a Chris Bosh guy, a floor spacer who can shoot. And to me, what Golden State needed was a bruiser. Somebody who's like, you're not, say it with me, you're not coming down here and scoring. SWAT, get that out of here. Rebounds, right? They needed somebody tough, Draymond-esque, Isaiah Stewart-esque, to put next to Draymond as a good 6'10", 6'11". That's what they really needed. Golden State still does not have that. Jaren Jackson being 6'11", he could set up shop down low and go to work. That's not his game, unfortunately. He's a perimeter guy. He'll give you some boards. Jaren Jackson, to me, plays like a tall 3. He doesn't play like a 5. He plays like a tall 3. Kind of similar, unfortunately, to like Victor Wembanyama, 7'4", and plays basically like a 2 or a 3. Side note, it's very unforgivable for Victor Wembanyama at 7'4" to get dunked on by Ja Morant at 6'2". All the hops in the world, you are a foot and 2 inches shorter. You shouldn't be able to do that. Getting back on target, I think that's the whole key to this game. Jimmy Butler, who drives me crazy sometimes, to be perfectly honest. Jimmy Butler, he's one of those guys that feels like he doesn't necessarily need to be the one to score the basket. He understands how to impact the game in multiple ways, and as long as we win, that's what really matters. Unfortunately, that just doesn't work in the playoffs. In the playoffs, your best players need to be their best, and they need to understand why it's necessary for them to be at their best. Playoff Jimmy has been a very well-known thing. He swears it's not real, ha ha ha, but it is. He takes his level of play up in the playoffs, at least 3 or 4 points, better efficiency, or just as good efficiency. And the truth be told, the Golden State Warriors are still missing like a third option. And this is what I'm saying. Like, imagine if the Golden State Warriors had Ivica Zubac. Imagine that. Steph, Draymond, Jimmy, and Zubac. And just imagine. Zubac had a really good season with the Clippers this year. If the Warriors ever invested in getting a big like Ivica Zubac, it would be hard as hell to beat them because of extra possessions, because of easier points. Earlier in the season, I did a Jamal Reacts video. You can check out my Jamal Reacts on my channel. I did a video about Stephen Curry being tired. And Steve Kerr just flat out said, yeah, he's tired. We got to find him some rest. That's because, and me and my father have talked about this at length, Golden State does not create easy shots. They still missed the ability to create easy shots. That's what's happened. That's what's helping the Clippers. Kawhi and James Harden are having a resurgence, and Ivica Zubac is manning the middle. That's what I think is the deficit for the Warriors, and that's why I'm saying I think Jaren Jackson Jr., if he can set up shop down low and play correctly, it ain't Taylor Jenkins the coach no more, which is weird. Whole nother topic. I may do a video about that. I did a video about Ja Morant. I haven't done a video about the coaching of the Grizzlies. I may do that. If you want to see me do that, put it in the comments, and I'll see what I can do. But the truth of the matter is, strategy-wise, and this is where, old school players criticize modern players. Mark Jackson had the perfect quote. These guys nowadays are bigger, stronger, faster, more talented, but they play dumber. And that's true. I've seen guys prefer 3-pointers on a fast break. I've seen guys take 3-pointers when the paint was open. You know what I mean? I call it situational scoring. Know when to do what. Every possession does not call for a 3-point to be jacked. Sometimes you need to take this layup and extend your lead. But it's like you have to have IQ to be able to do that. And for me, in this game, even if Jaren Jackson Jr. is, solid from 3, which he honestly is pretty solid from 3, you're 6'11". I don't think the Warriors have anybody besides maybe Trace Jackson Davis that's even remotely in that arena of height. Use that to your advantage. They need to create easy shots. Easy shots. Because if Stephen Curry is hot, y'all gonna have a problem. Y'all got a problem. I'm telling you now. And getting back to what I was saying about Jimmy Butler drives me crazy with this I don't care if I score mentality. That's great. You sound unselfish. Your image looks great. Your reputation is great. But if Jimmy Butler thinks the Warriors really have a chance to win, like not even just to play in, like, let's say, Western Conference Finals at least, he's going to have to be 30 a game. And he's going to have to sit with that. Steph's going to need to be 30. He's going to need to be 30 because the Warriors also don't have a consistent third option. Podziemski sometimes does it, sometimes he doesn't. Sometimes he feels like a nut, sometimes he doesn't. We don't know, right? He's a good player. He can shoot. Reports that he beats Steph one-on-one in practice, but he's sometimesy. So the truth of the matter is you have 2 guys who are excellent on offense, and everybody else is kind of good, and that's it. So it's like Jimmy gave Steph a break in a way, but at the same time, it's not quite enough to really go far in the playoffs. So in this particular game, Jimmy Butler's going to have to be excellent. He just is. He's going to have to be excellent. So Stephen Curry, actually, this is a very interesting thing. The last 2 seasons against the Grizzlies, Stephen Curry is only averaging 15 points and shooting 42%. He's shooting 23% from 3. That's something that I'm honestly shocked to see, because it's like, what in the world? Last year, because it's 2020, 23-24 season, he's a little better. 20 and 4 and 5. Shot 48 from the floor. He still only shot 24 from 3. But so he's a little better. But the point is, he's gonna have to be like Steph's MVP, the unanimous MVP season. He was 30 and 5 and 6, shooting 50, 40, 90. Steph's gonna have to have that kind of game. He just is. He's gonna have to have a highly efficient, high-scoring game. Jimmy Butler's last 5 games against the Grizzlies, some of them with the Heat, some of them with the Warriors. He's 3-2 in those matchups. He was 19 and 5 and 4. And this is what I'm saying about Jimmy. Jimmy's kind of like, whatever will work is fine with me, even if it's not me. And I'm saying 19 and 5 and 4 in a game like this, shooting 45%, great. 50 from 3, like, we're going to need a playoff virtuoso, right? We're going to need a playoff virtuoso. Steph and Jimmy are going to have to combine for 60 to 70 points just to get through this game. They are. They're gonna have to, because the funny thing is, what am I? I'm 12 minutes into this video and I haven't even talked about Desmond Bane yet. Like, I haven't even talked about Desmond Bane. Desmond Bane is a baller. Desmond Bane can play. Desmond Bane could also be an X factor for this team. He could absolutely be an X factor. I posted a highlight video on my channel not too long ago. He had 38 points. Like, Desmond Bane, he's coming. He's definitely coming. So you have Ja, you have Bane, but you got Jaren Jackson. And I really think if they understand the opportunity they have, Jaren Jackson Jr. can be the difference in this game. But he can't play like a small forward out on the perimeter. He's going to have to be under the basket, understanding he's 6'11", and Golden State has nobody his size to really combat him. That's what he's going to have to do. And so I'm interested to see that part of it. I think, so the key matchup in this series, I keep saying series, but it's just play-in, just one game. The key matchup in this play-in game is going to be Draymond versus Jaren Jackson Jr. If Draymond can contain Jaren Jackson Jr., Golden State will win by 5-10. And I think that's really what has to happen. Jaren Jackson Jr. has to be contained, because if he busts loose, Golden State's going to have a problem. They're going to have a big problem. I think Steph can be Steph. He averaged, 23, 24 points this year. Pretty solid efficiency from Steph. Not, any career best numbers, to be honest, at all. He seems to be slowing down a bit. I don't know if it's true or not. From what he's not a far cry from what he once was, but he's not quite the same Steph, right? And quite frankly, the Warriors have always just needed him too much, like Stephen A. Smith said. My prediction for this game, and I'm thinking about this as I'm saying it. I have to give a prediction, I know. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to go with the Grizzlies. I know you're probably like, what? But I am. I'm going to go with the Grizzlies in this game. I think the combination of Ja Morant, Desmond Bane, and for what Jaren Jackson Jr. offers. I really hope he puts his back to the basket, does his best Ivica Zubac impression. Don't do too much. Don't do too little. Go out there, dominate. I'm picking the Grizzlies. I think they score much better than the Warriors. The Warriors have the much better defense, to be honest. And that's why I'm saying Draymond has to really be important in this game. The Grizzlies' defense is abysmal. Number 1 offense, 23rd defense. That means you're literally the best scoring team in the league. Nobody can do it like you, but every other team is in every game, because at the end of the day, you can't stop anybody. And that's Golden State's the wrong team to have that be the case with. It's Steph, right? Jimmy can get in his bag. We've seen it. We saw him score 56 against the Bucks. We saw him put up 42 in the 2020 finals in the bubble to avoid pretty much losing the finals and extending it to a game 6, even though LeBron was magnificent at game 2. So we've seen Jimmy have playoff virtuosos, and we're going to need one. I just don't think Steph and Jimmy is enough to pull them through. If Moody can get more minutes and contribute, if Podziemski can contribute, then I think Golden State really has a chance. Draymond Green this season averaged another triple single, 9, 5, and 5, but he played excellent defense. He's intelligent, so he's also going to be an X factor. If Draymond could find his way to 15 points in a very sneaky manner, that could also help this game. Find your way to 15 points, Draymond. If you can do that, just sneak in 15. Moody give you maybe 10. Podziemski 15 to 18. Stephen and Jimmy both 30, 35 each. Then you're going to have a good formula to win this game because the Grizzlies defense is just not very good, right? But I honestly think the combination of Bane, Morant, and Jaren Jackson Jr. is going to be too much for Golden State. I really do. I think it's going to be too much. So it's going to be interesting, and I love my Warriors and I love Stephen Curry, but my prediction is that the Memphis Grizzlies is going to win this game. They're going to win the play-in. They're going to get the 7th seed. They're going to face the Houston Rockets first round, which is so funny because this is all shaping up for the Lakers to at least make the finals and LeBron get blamed for having a weak path to the finals again because he lucked up when the Clippers beat the Warriors in the last game of the season. The Clippers ended up 5th, so they'll face the Nuggets, the 4-5 matchup. And the Lakers now have the Timberwolves. They do not have to face the Warriors, right? Or the Clippers, to be honest. So they're hit my microphone. So what they're gonna face the Timberwolves. They kind of lucked up a little bit. You know what I mean? But the Lakers will play the Timberwolves first round, and the second round, I think, will be between the winner of the Rockets and the Grizzlies. In that series, honestly, strictly for coaching, I think I'm going to pick the Rockets in that series. Now, the Lakers going against the Rockets won't be easy. The Rockets are a much better team this year. But, I mean, come on. They're literally, they won't have to face the Thunder until the Western Conference Finals. I think that's going to be the series to watch in the Western Conference this year is possibly the Lakers and the Thunder, right? Which is a whole nother video, whole nother breakdown, whole nother everything. But if you ask me, I see the Grizzlies getting the 7th seed this year, and I see them beating the Golden State Warriors tomorrow in the play-in game. I'm a Steph fan. I'm not a Ja fan. I'm a Steph fan, so I'm rooting for Golden State. But my feelings and what's true aren't the same thing. And I think as people, we have to be very diligent about understanding what's true regardless of how you feel. I love my Warriors. I'm rooting for them, but I honestly think the Grizzlies will get them tomorrow. This is Jamal Bethea with the Clutch Report, play-in tournament edition. Thanks for tuning in. Peace.